Hello and welcome to Yoga with Jenny. Today I'm going to take you through a little breakdown into Utkatasana, chair pose. So I feel like one of the biggest things I see as a teacher is it all comes down to our alignment of our feet and what feels best for us. So there's a couple options. There's no perfect way to do it. However, there's always going to be the best way for your body. Now, the first thing to check in with is how you feel comfortable standing. Is that feet hips width apart, or do you feel comfortable with your big toes touching and your heels a sliver apart? Now, depending on how that feels for your knees, bending in, you could feel like you have a lot of compression going on. You could feel like there's a lot happening through your quads and your knees that isn't exactly comfortable. So for those students, I always recommend your feet a little bit wider than big toes touching and heels apart. And then the second thing is you want to keep your knees about in line with your ankles. So even if your big toes are touching, there's still that sliver of space between the ankles. So we want to keep that there. We don't want them to draw in, because what that does is that tells our hips to draw in, and that closes off this area, and it makes it a little harder for us to find that lift through our chest. So as soon as those knees open, you have a lot more mobility through that part of your body. Now, the next thing I see a lot of is knees past our toes. Like, we want to be pulling our shins back. So the most important thing here is not how low you're sitting, but where your knees are positioned. So even if your hips are high, but your knees are back, you are getting all the benefits rather than pulling these knees forward and putting a lot here through our shins that we don't necessarily need to be doing. And that then pulls a lot through the knees as well. The next thing we're going to do is lengthen through the tops of our thighs. So as we're sinking our hips, we're also pulling them back. Like there's a chair behind us and someone just keeps gently pulling it back a little further. And then your hip points, I want you to lift them a little off the top of your thighs. That's going to let the tailbone draw down. Now your hands, that's up to you. Hands at heart. Maybe you're reaching arms in front. If your shoulders feel good today, reach things up and pull the thumbs back so you feel that length from the tailbone all the way up through the side body. And then shoulders can get a little ease here by spinning the pinkies in. And then we let the toes get a little light. You should be able to lightly wiggle your toes. You're not gripping the mat with the toes. Exhale, hands to heart, press into those heels. Whew. Release. We'll do one more little thing to help us with our chair pose. I want you to reach your arms back behind you, and you can interlace your knuckles or bring your hands to your low back, whatever allows you to comfortably draw your shoulder blades together. Now, I want you to draw those shoulders back, feel the knuckles or elbows pull back, and hug your low ribs in and sit low. Lift the hip points. Feel the tailbone draw down. Your chest is nice and open. Pull the shins back a little further. Make sure you can see your toes. And then fold forward. Keep your legs as they are. Release the arms. Now, hands come down. We sink our hips. Begin to look forward, hug the low ribs and low belly in away from the tops of your thighs, and gently peel up. Feel your lower back nice and open. Feel the front body open. Look forward, soften shoulders. Pull the thumbs back. And exhale, hands to heart. Whew. So chair pose is something you will likely do in almost every single yoga class you take. And it is a great place to work on that alignment and work on our awareness and engagement of all those muscles and muscle groups throughout the legs and lower half of the body. And you're using your core, you're using your whole body here. So you can go through that little checklist. How are my feet? Do they feel comfortable? Does everything feel comfortable in my knees? Are my knees wide enough apart? Are my hips open enough? Is my tailbone drawing down instead of lifting up? Do my ribs feel spacious? Does the side body feel long? And can I open my chest? You know, just a short little checklist. But just starting with a couple of those little things and peppering those into your practice and remembering like knees, ankles, shoulders, that right there is going to totally change your alignment, and you'll find a deeper connection to each pose and to your body. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that I answered any questions. If you have any more questions about chair pose or any other pose, feel free to comment below. I'm always looking for different things to help y'all out. So again, thank you for tuning in for Yoga with Jenny.